So what we have here is just a plastic bowl, and I have these little chunks of wood. These are double die stabilized pieces of Buckeye Burl that I have. Lots of little different random chunks of it, and I'll just kind of hold this up. So I cut. Let me just do this. So lots of like random chunks of stuff. And they have little divots and all that stuff. And so what we're going to be doing is, rather than cast an entire brick, like a square block, that is a tremendous waste of resin. And for people that do bowl turning, you know, if you start with a square block, you carve all of this out and it's just wasted shavings. And so I actually got the idea to do it this way, where you're using a plastic bowl for the mold for resin casting, and what you do is you arrange your little chunks kind of around the edge, and then what you do is you put a plug in the middle, and what that gives you is it takes up space, so you're not going to just get rid of all of that resin, and it gives you something easy to waste out and also mount the bowl to. So I should have probably left one of those cameras up, but basically, to get this, all it is a 2x4, and I just took a pair of dividers, made a circle, cut the circle out on the lathe, so you kind of had just this disc, or not on the lathe, cut it on the bandsaw, so you just had a disc. Then what I did was chuck up. This is just a faceplate, faceplate that you chuck on the lathe. This is going to be a waste glue block, so I just hot glue on here, and then you just glue on your 2x4, and then just cut a little bit of a shape, a little kind of similar to that bowl shape. Take this thing off, and one way you can just get this thing off real easy is just use a heat gun, and that'll heat the glue up, and you can just kind of pry it off of there, so you don't have to like turn it off. And then you have a waste block that you can just stick in the middle of this thing. So what I plan to do is I'm gonna use like just a pearl. These things have so many colors in them. There's no reason for me to put a lot of color in the resin itself. So I'm just gonna use a white pearl, and I'll just kind of show you how I set up this bowl blank and then pour it real quick. Now I have the part A in this cup, and I'm just gonna I'm going to zero out my scale. I already did that. And we need to put the part B in, but I'm going to set up my blank real quick here. Alright, so that's probably pretty close to good. I'm going to start adding. I'm just going to, I think I'm going to add. This is an 1/8 teaspoon. And I'm just going to go for it. It's an 1/8 teaspoon, and that's Micro Pearl X. That shouldn't be too much. I'm really going for just a kind of a haze and some light reflection. Alright, so let's pour it in, see what happens. I don't know. I don't even know what's going to happen. So I'm just pouring it into one area here, and I'm letting it kind of seep up in. A lot of times I will typically recommend that you push the pieces of, whatever you're embedding down in the resin. But because you need to do some taping and all this stuff, in this case, I would just, try and get it in there. Maybe we'll tap the mold a little bit and just move it around. Try and make sure that resin just creeps into all the little spots. Oh, that looks really sweet. I like this thing. Okay, let's take it off the lathe. Woo! We made it.